On your set when you started filming Wonder Woman. I mean, how ironic that you're a symbol of power.
He was a very, very nice guy. And
yet you're being preyed upon in your own dressing room. What's the story there?
You know, if there, as a matter of fact, if I ever run into him, I think I owe him an apology. I was called into the head of Warner Brothers. There was a lot of kind of, a lot of things. Office, and they said, we have something that we need to talk to you about. It went on during that time about trying to limit his, oh, what did I do? And did I hang from a helicopter? Involvement with the show or something like that that didn't ever come from me. Got fired for that. But they said, we have discovered.
It's 1975, and a young woman from Arizona spins around in a flash of light, transforming into the most iconic female superhero of all time. Her name was Lynda Carter, and she didn't just play Wonder Woman, she became her. But what really happened to the actress who made millions of people believe that a woman could truly be a superhero? Today, we're going to uncover the incredible story of Lynda Carter's life. From her rise to stardom to the shocking challenges she faced behind the scenes, and what she's doing today that will absolutely amaze you. When Lynda Carter first put on that red, gold and blue costume in the 1970s, nobody could have predicted the impact she would have on the world. She wasn't just another actress playing a role. She was breaking barriers and showing young girls everywhere that they could be strong, brave, and powerful. But the journey to becoming Wonder Woman wasn't easy, and the life she lived after the show ended was filled with both triumph and heartbreak that most people never knew about. Let's start from the beginning. Before Lynda Carter became the Amazon princess we all know and love, she was just a regular girl with big dreams. Born and raised in Arizona, she was far from the glamorous world of Hollywood. But even as a young woman, there was something special about her. At just 21 years old, she decided to enter a beauty contest, and her natural charm and stunning looks caught everyone's attention. She won, and this victory led her to represent Arizona in the 1972 Miss World America pageant. Can you imagine? This small-town girl was suddenly competing on a national stage, and she made it all the way to the semi-finals of the International Miss World pageant. This experience opened doors for her in the entertainment industry, and she began getting small roles on television shows. Her first real break came with a show called Nakia, Bikiwa. It was just a stepping stone to something much bigger. When the casting directors were looking for someone to play Wonder Woman, they needed someone who could be both beautiful and strong. Someone who could make audiences believe in the power of this Amazonian warrior. When Lynda Carter walked into that audition room, everything changed. But here's something that might shock you. Getting the role almost didn't happen because of her appearance. The producers were worried about how she would look in the costume, and she actually had to show up to her Wonder Woman audition wearing a bathing suit. Can you imagine how nerve-wracking that must have been? But Lynda had the confidence and the presence that the character needed, and when she got the part, she transformed television forever. The Wonder Woman costume itself has an incredible story that most people don't know. The outfit wasn't just thrown together by some costume designer. It was carefully crafted to represent strength, patriotism, and female empowerment all at the same time. The designer, Donald Lee Feld, who went by Don Feld, actually won an Emmy Award for his work on the costume. But creating the perfect look for Wonder Woman came with its own set of challenges. One of the biggest problems was designing swimwear scenes for the show. The original costume was so form-fitting and revealing that the network was worried about how it would look on television, especially since they knew children would be watching. So instead of putting Lynda in a regular bikini for water scenes, they created a special blue wetsuit that would be more appropriate for family television. Even her stunt double had to wear the same type of outfit, and the woman who played her double, Jeannie Epper, had to learn to move exactly like Lynda did. Speaking of stunts, You would be amazed to learn how many dangerous things Lynda Carter did herself during the filming of Wonder Woman. Most actors rely heavily on their stunt doubles, but Lynda was determined to do as much as possible herself. There was one scene where Wonder Woman had to hang from a helicopter, and even though it would have been much safer to use her stunt double, Lynda insisted on doing it herself. The producers were absolutely furious because she could have been seriously injured, but her dedication to the role was incredible. In another scary incident, Lynda had to jump over a car for a scene. The crew had her attached to wires to help her make the jump, but something went wrong. She misjudged the distance and crashed into the car head first. She told Johnny Carson about this frightening experience in a 1976 interview, and you could see how shaken she still was by what happened. But even after these close calls, she continued to push herself to make Wonder Woman as authentic as possible. One of the most iconic parts of Wonder Woman was her transformation sequence. You know, the one where Diana Prince would spin around and magically transform into Wonder Woman in a flash of light and sparkles. What you might not know is that this wasn't some fancy special effect that was planned from the beginning. The spinning move was actually Lynda's idea. She had been a dancer before becoming an actress, and when the producers were trying to figure out how to show Wonder Woman's transformation, she suggested that she could do a pirouette or a spin. The producers loved the idea, and they added all the special effects later in editing. But creating that perfect spin wasn't as easy as it looked. In the early episodes, they used a slow-motion technique that was incredibly expensive and difficult to maintain. The show was already struggling with budget issues. In fact, after the first season, ABC decided they didn't want to spend any more money on the expensive World War II sets, and they actually cancelled the show. Thankfully, CBS picked it up and moved the setting to modern times, which was much cheaper to produce. When CBS took over the show, they also updated Wonder Woman's costume. Instead of the eagle on her chest, they gave her a WW logo, and they changed some of the other details too. But no matter what version of the costume she wore, Lynda had to maintain an incredibly strict fitness routine to look the part. She followed a rigid diet and workout schedule because, as she put it, you can't be eating donuts while wearing a costume like that. What's really interesting is that even though Lynda was in her 20s during the show and naturally had a great figure, she still felt the pressure to stay in perfect shape. She later became an advocate for healthy body image, speaking out against the unrealistic expectations placed on actresses. In 2007, she told a reporter that she was sick of seeing these anorexic actresses, and that in any other part of the country, they would be in the hospital. She believed then, as she does now, that being healthy is more important than being skinny. The Wonder Woman bracelets that Lynda wore weren't just costume jewelry. They were actually functional props with real pyrotechnics inside them. Whenever Wonder Woman had to deflect bullets, there were tiny wired explosives in the bracelets that would create sparks when she pressed a hidden button. Can you imagine how dangerous that was? This was long before computer-generated imagery was common, so they had to rely on these practical effects to bring the character to life. The most observant viewers might have noticed that Lynda always seemed to have something hidden in her hand during these scenes. That was the remote control for the pyrotechnics. But being Wonder Woman wasn't all action and adventure. Lynda faced serious challenges that had nothing to do with stunts or special effects. She struggled with the way people looked at her and treated her because of her role. She never wanted to be seen as just a sex symbol, but unfortunately, that's how many people viewed her. She once said that she never meant to be a sexual object for anyone other than her husband, and she hated that photos of her were hung up in men's bathrooms and locker rooms. The attention she received was sometimes inappropriate and even scary. There was one incident where someone drilled a peephole in her dressing room so they could watch her change clothes. When this was discovered, that person was immediately fired, but it shows just how uncomfortable and invasive her experience could be. Years later, during the Me Too movement, Lynda spoke about all the sexual harassment she had to deal with as a young actress in Hollywood. Despite these challenges, Lynda tried to use her platform for good. She became an advocate for women's rights and LGBTQ+ rights, and she always tried to be a positive role model for young girls. She was especially proud when she learned that drag queens often dressed up a turn, it's Wonder Woman, because she saw it as another way that the character could inspire people to be brave and confident. When Wonder Woman ended in 1979, Lynda could have easily been typecast and struggled to find other roles. But she was determined to show the world that she was more than just Wonder Woman. She had always been interested in music, and she decided to pursue a singing career. In 1978, she told a reporter, "I'm determined to make it on my skill, not my bosom. People see me in a swimming suit every Friday night on TV. I've been singing my whole life, and I want everyone to know that." Her music career had some success, and she released several albums over the years. She also continued acting in various television shows and movies, and she even did voice work for video games. But no matter what other projects she worked on, Wonder Woman remained the role that defined her career. In 1977, when Lynda was 25 years old, she married Ron Samuels, a movie producer who was much older than she was. Looking back on that marriage years later, she admitted that she had been just stupid, and that the age difference had been a problem. They divorced in 1982, but this difficult period in her personal life taught her a lot about what she really wanted. After her divorce, Lynda met Robert Altman, a lawyer who was running a company in Washington, D.C. Their first meeting was at a dinner party, and Robert later said that even though he knew she was a famous actress, he wasn't sure he wanted to get involved with someone from Hollywood. But when he sat next to her at dinner, they clicked immediately. He was surprised to discover that she was nothing like the stereotypical Hollywood actress he had expected. Instead of being self-centered and full of herself, she was humble, kind, funny, and incredibly intelligent. They got married in 1984, and Lynda found the happiness and stability she had been looking for. In 1988, they had a son named James, and 2 years later, a daughter named Jessica was born. Lynda stepped away from the spotlight to focus on being a mother, and she built a beautiful life for her family in Maryland. Many people wondered if she regretted giving up her career to raise her children, but Lynda has always said that becoming a mother was one of the best decisions she ever made. She spent years attending school events, helping with homework, and just being present for her kids in a way that wouldn't have been possible if she had been constantly traveling for work. Both of her children grew up to be successful adults. Remarkably, both James and Jessica became lawyers, just like their father. Jessica, in particular, has gotten a lot of attention because she looks so much like her mother. When they appear together at events, people are amazed by how similar they look, with the same dark hair, beautiful eyes, and elegant cheekbones. But Jessica isn't just living in her mother's shadow. She graduated from the University of Michigan with degrees in both psychology and law, and she worked for a prestigious law firm before deciding to pursue her other passion, music. Like her mother, Jessica is a talented singer, and she's been working to build her own career in the music industry. She even performed at the Kennedy Center, where her mother put together a band of amazing musicians to support her. Jessica has said that her mother inspires her every day, and she has wonderful memories of finding Wonder Woman's costume in her mother's closet when she was little and running around the house pretending to be a superhero. Some people on social media have suggested that Jessica should take on the role of Wonder Woman herself, especially now that Gal Gadot has brought the Charatan seat back to the big screen. Speaking of Gal Gadot, when the new Wonder Woman movies came out in 2017 and 2020, some people noticed that the costume was less colourful and revealing than Lynda's original version. But Lynda has always been supportive of other actresses who have taken on the role, and she's defended the character against critics who think Wonder Woman is too sexualized. When filmmaker James Cameron made some negative comments about Wonder Woman's appearance in the new movies, Lynda wrote a strong response defending both the character and director Patty Jenkins. She pointed out that she had over 40 years of experience embodying Wonder Woman, and she knew the character better than anyone. Her response showed that even decades after playing the role, she still felt protective of Wonder Woman and what she represented. Today, at 72 years old, Lynda Carter is still as beautiful and vibrant as ever. She's been remarkably open about her approach to aging, saying that she's almost natural and doesn't believe in going under the knife for plastic surgery. The only cosmetic procedure she's ever had is a little bit of Botox, and she credits her youthful appearance to staying out of the sun, using good skincare products, and living a healthy lifestyle. She's also remained active in advocating for causes she cares about. She's been a strong supporter of LGBTQ+ rights, women's rights, and various charitable organizations. In 2016, the United Nations even named Wonder Woman as an honorary ambassador, though this decision was controversial because some people thought a real woman should have been chosen instead of a fictional character. Throughout all of this, Lynda has maintained her sense of humor and her perspective on what really matters in life. She's often said that being Wonder Woman taught her about the responsibility that comes with being a role model, and she's never taken that responsibility lightly. She understands that for many people, she will always be Wonder Woman, and she's embraced that legacy while also continuing to grow as a person and an artist. Her influence on popular culture cannot be overstated. Before Lynda Carter, there had never been a female superhero who captured the public's imagination the way Wonder Woman did. She proved that audiences were hungry for strong female characters, and she paved the way for all the female superheroes we see in movies and TV shows today. But perhaps more importantly, she showed young girls that they could be strong, brave, and powerful. She taught them that they didn't have to wait to be rescued. They could be the ones doing the rescuing. And she did all of this while maintaining her grace, her dignity, and her humanity. Looking at Lynda Carter's life, it's clear that she's been much more than just an actress who played a superhero. She's been a trailblazer, a role model, a loving mother, and an advocate for justice and equality. She's faced challenges and setbacks, but she's always come through them with strength and wisdom. Her story reminds us that real heroes aren't just the characters we see on screen. They're the people who use their platform to make the world a better place, who stand up for what's right, and who inspire others to be the best versions of themselves. Lynda Carter did all of that, and she continues to do it today. So the next time you see Wonder Woman on screen, whether it's Lynda Carter spinning into action, or Gal Gadot wielding the lasso of truth, remember the real woman who started it all. Remember Lynda Carter, who didn't just play a superhero. She became one, both on screen and off. That's the incredible story of what happened to Lynda Carter, the original Wonder Woman. From a small-town girl with big dreams to a global icon who changed the world, her journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. If this story inspired you as much as it inspired me, please hit that like button, share this video with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories about the people who shaped our culture and our world. Until next time, keep believing in heroes, because sometimes they're real people doing extraordinary things